Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. So today our webinar is about FIFA World Cup 2026, which is every revenue manager, every hotelier waiting to make their revenue 3x, right? Am I correct? So yeah, this is very good opportunity. The demands, the bookings, reservation, everything comes to hosted cities for FIFA, and it is a very good chance to capture as much as revenue from this opportunity. So yeah, today we're talking about a brief overview of FIFA World Cup 2026 based on historical data, based on which cities in FIFA were hosted, and everything about the FIFA in this. And also in part 2, we were talked the detailed analysis of our RevEvolve team have done about every numbers, about every ADR uplift, about every signals, critical signals, moderate, high, low, every signals we are talking in a part 2. But in part 1, we are talking about the overview of FIFA World Cup. So let's start it. So today we are talking about one of the biggest opportunity on the horizon, the FIFA World Cup 2026. So for those of you who are managing hotels in United States, Canada and Mexico over the next 18 months, this isn't just another sporting event on the calendar. This is 39 days tournament, a tsunami of demand that will reshape your occupancy, your average daily rate, your bar rate, and ultimately your bottom line. And the good news, with the right intelligence and strategy, you can ride this wave to unprecedented profitability. Right? So let's start. Today, we are diving into how to use match level intelligence data to build a revenue strategy that will capture maximum value from World Cup 2026. Here's what we will cover in this webinar: the scale of the opportunity, what makes 2026 different, strategic demand forecasting with match intelligence, city by city revenue optimization, pricing strategies across tournament phases, market segmentation and customer acquisition, concrete action items you can implement next week. So let's start. So here the number tells the story. So let's start with what we know. The FIFA World Cup 2026 is the biggest World Cup ever staged. Here's why that matters for your property. 104 matches across 16 host cities spread across 3 countries: USA, Canada, Mexico, with 39 tournament days from June 11th through 19th of July 2026. Expected attendees were over 5 million spectators globally. Peak ADR uplift forecasted from 150 to 250% during knockout stages and the final matches. Why this matter to your profit and loss? A 150% ADR lift doesn't mean you will see it every single night. But during match days, knockout stages, and especially the finals, your property could be commanding premium pricing. Listen me carefully, premium pricing. That's not marginal revenue improvement, that's transformational. Historically, major sporting events drives sustained occupancy increases of 70 to 90% in host cities. Length of stay compression during peak match days, and multi-destination travel patterns, fans visiting multiple cities for multiple matches. Demand for extended stay before and after tournament. The critical insights we can see over here is not all the 39 days are equal. Some were going peak, some were going a little low. The earlier round spreads demand thinly, but the knockout stages, quarterfinals, semifinals, and especially the final concentrate demand at a level that creates scarcity pricing opportunity. So it's a max of peak time, which was knockouts and the final matches where you can make a lot of money from that, right? Then we are talking about the forecast. So here where the most revenue managers go wrong, they treat the World Cup as a single event. They forecast World Cup demand and try to slot it into their existing yield management models. That's backwards. Match level intelligence is different. It starts with a simple truth. A quarter-final match between Brazil and, let's say, France will generate more demand than a group stage match between two lower ranked teams. And a semi-final match where one team has traveled 500 miles from an adjacent city creates local demand spillover patterns that a group stage match won't. The three demand tiers here you must forecast separately. If you are a hotelier or you are a revenue manager, then tier one would be the group stage matches where early rounds. The early rounds mostly between day 1 to day 15, where the lower attendees to capacity the ratios, the distributed demand across multiple cities, competitive pricing pressure, hotels compete with each other, and revenue strategy like volume based pricing and multi night packages. The tier two here is a knockout stage that we talked earlier. Knockout stages were the quarterfinals and the semifinals, which was around day 16 to 25 in between. And these days, the concentrated demand in fewer cities, higher attendees would join the matches to come from different cities to support their team, which become the higher attendee intensity. The scarcity begins to emerge, and the revenue strategy were moderate price increases on these days and the length of stay targeting. Then tier 3, the final and playoff, which is between 26 to 39, the last day's last slot, where maximum scarcity in specific cities like 200% plus ADR uplift, justified by supply constraints, extended stay patterns, families, international travelers staying 5 to 7 nights to watch the matches. Also, the revenue strategy, aggressive, dynamic pricing, premium positioning were happen on these days. So, monitoring the final days from let's say 26 to 39, uh, just you will see how much demand was. You can capture your hotel capture on that days. Then here's the actionable framework for each of your properties. Overlay the match schedule against the historical booking curve. Can ask these questions like which matches affect my city, like home team, travel distance, or the stadium size. Then we can say what's the demand elasticity? How many rooms could I feel at 50% premium versus 200% premium? This is also the question, right? The third question would be when do fans arrive, a day before, a 3 day before, or a week before. Also, how long do they stay just for the match or include the pre or post festives functions? So this all questions comes to the hotelier and the revenue manager mind. So this intelligence that RevEvolve team have generated that we'll see in the part 2 will let you stop forecasting generally and generally, but it start forecasting match by match, and the precision is where the margin expansion happens, right? And then we can see the revenue also depends city by city. So city by city revenue optimization would also there. There were around 16 host cities. Are not all are equal. Your revenue strategy must be contextual, right? So the three city that archetypes. The first one, the A, would be major hub cities like finalist, high demand concentration. For example, cities hosting multiple knockout stage matches. The strategy would be aggressive dynamic pricing because of it is a knockout stage matches. Implement tiered pricing by match tier and focus on premium positioning during semi-finals and finals. Offer luxury packages and then target high spending international tourists and corporate entertainment buyers. The B archetype would be regional secondary cities like group stage plus early knockouts, right? For example, of this B type would be city hosting, like city hosting 3 to 4 group stage matches plus potential knockout match, right? So the strategy would be volume oriented pricing with strategic peak periods. Second would be focus family packages, multi-night discounts for early rounds, premium positioning for late rounds if applicable. The target the domestic travelers and families road trips. Here we can see we have a lot of data from June 11 to July 19. Also, we have the signals, we have for all the cities, we have all our matches, we have the pricing notes. We can see all this for all the city that is hosting, all the stages, group, round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-final, final. Then we'll see the demand, the extreme demand to low demand, where your property will stand out. So we'll see all this data in details in part 2 of this Revivol webinar series. We can also see the actionable items that we can do for the pricing for the next week or in the 39 days, I can say. Okay, so yeah, also we are talking about the archetype. So the third archetype would be non-host cities. What about non-host cities? So let's take an example over here. Hotels near host cities, especially within 1 to 2 hours drive, right? Like you have to travel 1 to 2 hours to reach the stadium or around the stadium to watch your favorite team match. So the strategy for this type of peoples would be moderate uplift targeting local demand, fans staying locally to avoid congestion in the host city. Also, the focus would be positioning as near the action with the subtle services, fans experience packages like that. Also, the target for this type would be price consequences, domestic fans like families seeking alternative accommodations, right? Also, we are talking about hotel zone analysis within the city. Within each host cities, hotel zone matters, right? Proximity to the stadium. I can say use this framework that I have found out, which would be for your property, the framework would be like premium zone, secondary zone, and value zone. So, premium zone is like walking distance to the stadium. Command 200 to 250% premium during peak matches. Again, the pricing, the uplift of the ADR is totally depend around the city by city of your hotel or your property located in. So it's depend on the location, right? Also, the secondary zone would have 5 to 10 minutes drive to reach, where you can command about 120 to 150% premium price. Then the third one would be the value zone, which is about 15%, 15 plus, I'm sorry, 15 plus minute drives that command 50 to 80% premium, focus on the volume. So this three zones, this framework is totally work for your property, but it depends on which location your property, your hotel are in, right? So the strategic insight would be don't uh, compete on the location that much, but yeah, it's totally like your location would be nearer or a little far. So if you are in the value zone like 15 plus minute drive, then compete on the price plus experience like subtle services, fan zones, entertainment packages. So if your property would be like in value zone, look into this points, this strategy points, right? Then we were talking about the fifth thing would be dynamic pricing across the tournament phases. So how your property would charge like dynamically, right? So we can mostly see that if the demand would be increasing, then we will adjust our pricing according to that. That is the general, or we can see the most easiest way or path that every revenue manager or hotelier do, right? So, dynamic pricing during the World Cup isn't just about the raising rates, but it's about capturing the full demand curve. Pricing each date at the exact level where marginal revenue is maximized. Here's how you can do, like in phase one, let's say pre-tournament period, which is maybe let's say January to May 2026, where you maintain your property's normal pricing that you would do, build early booking momentum. Okay. The action would it take for this phase one would be announce the World Cup packages early in February, and right now in February and in March, then lock in early bookers at moderate premiums like 20 to 30% above the base. Okay, so that would be your first phase. The second phase would be the tournament begins, means the group stage, which was around July 11 to 2000 to 25. I'm sorry, to July 11 to 25, where you can see in the phase two your pricing would be plus 50 to 80% above the base rates. The strategy would be spread demand across multiple cities. Competitions is higher and focus on filling the inventory rather than maximize per room rate. And focus on filling the inventory in this phase two where the tournament just begins. Then in phase three, which was important and crucial, which is knockout stages, begins at June 26 to July 8, where your property pricing would be 100 to 150% above the base rate. The strategy would be as scarcity begins, reduce package discounts, focus on premium positioning in the knockout stage, right? The action you would take is by mid tournament, you should see that inventory constraints begin aggressive LOS management also. In the fourth phase, which is the final and the important, where people would give money, where people were not price sensitive and they pay as much as for the hotels if they were the uh, crazy head fans. So the fourth phase would be the final, and the third plays match, which is July 10 to 19, where pricing is about 150 to 250% above the base rates. The strategy would be maximize the scarcity pricing and expect last room available rates to apply. Also, the action for this phase would be stop offering discounts, implement peak day surcharges, enforce strict cancellation policies. Do not forget that the strict cancellation policy for this phase should be done and should be monitored, right? So the critical tactical moves would be implement date level pricing, not room type level pricing. Each date or each day, I can say, for this FIFA World Cup, the 39 date would be unique. Each date is unique. Create scarcity ensures show last room available pricing to create urgency. When suppose if I take my example, I have my favorite team in one city and I'm going to see the match. If I see that there is a last room available near the stadium and it has written that last room available pricing would be this, it creates the urgency that if I would take that hotel room, if I would not, then someone else would get the benefit to take that. So yeah, you just started this type of last room available pricing showing on your website to create the urgency. Use match intelligence alerts, like notify past bookers when their team plays in your city. Then lock in non-refundable inventory early at higher rates to protect the upsides, and protect premium dates, cap walk-in rates, require deposits, and force strict policies. So these were your critical tactical move for your property to be confident and don't leave the money on the table for this FIFA World Cup 2026 because it is a great and much, much, much important opportunity to earn 3x to plus revenue from your property. The sixth factor would be we were talking about the market segment and the customer acquisitions. So, market segment here also plays a crucial role. Not all the World Cup customers are the same. Segmenting them properly unlocks different pricing and package opportunities. So, primary the customer segment would be the segment one would be international tourist. Here you can earn more 30 to 40% of the demand. Characteristics higher willingness to pay, extended LOS, premium room preferences. The acquisition would be partner with the tour operators and travel agencies, international OTAs to gain more. Also, the packaging, like all the inclusive World Cup packages, like hotel plus match tickets plus transportation to the stadium. So, this will help more for the customer perspective to gain more trust and pay more for your hotel price. Okay, also the pricing command 180 to 250% premium. They are price inelastic. The segment 2 would be the corporate and the group buyers, like 20 to 25% of the demand. Characteristics would be high value, multi room bookings, entertainment expense budgets. The direct sales outreach to corporations, sport marketing agencies, and entertainment companies. The hospitality packages, the VIP experience and meeting spaces would be there in this type of segments. The pricing would be negotiate group rates for about 30 to 35, 30 to 50 rooms minimum, but at a premium ADR. The third segment would be the domestic fence, like 35 to 45% of the demand. So the characteristics over here in this segment would be it is like they were price sensitive. The shorter LOS would and the value seeking, like multi-destination travels are we can see in the domestic fence. The budget packages, the multi-night discounts and the fan experience bundles would be great. The competitive 80 to 120% premium but maximize the occupancy. Here for market segment, the actionable segmentation strategy, I would say, will be build three separate inventory pools. We can say international, corporate, and domestic. So this three help you gain more of the different type of people and different segment revenue. Also, you can generate from this. Set different minimum length of stay for each segment, like international 3+ nights, corporate would be 2+ nights, and domestic would be like more into the travel, so there were 1+ nights, right? It creates a segment specific packages with matching price points. Use match intelligence to target fans with the relevant marketing, where we can see in the part 2 where like your team plays in our city on June 18, book now. Like this you can um, do in the marketing side to target the fans. The seventh factor that we are talking about would be the concrete action items, where the strategy becomes reality, and these are the specific moves, like specific action that you should take to starting this week to capitalize on World Cup 2026, right? So the immediate action would be week 1 to week 4. Map your property against match intelligence data that I'll show you in the next part and identify which match directly impact your city with the secondary market you can reach, right? Then segment your inventory for World Cup, create three distinct bundles that we are talking earlier. Standard value packages like mid-tier, corporate, domestic. The value would be volume, focus, the family packages, so this is more important. Then audit your competition, analyze 5 to 10 comparable properties in your city that is same as your property, the same inventory. what are they positioning, what's their perceived value propositions. So this is a very important part for every revenue manager or hotelier to monitor uh, your competitors to gain more profit, right? Okay. Then build a preliminary pricing model that creates a base case, upside and downside scenarios for each tournament phases. Identify which phases drive your margin. The short term action, which is around month 2 to 6, I would say, is launch the World Cup packages. Create 3 to 5 package bundles, which is for international, for domestic, for price sensitive, for corporate, this type of peoples, and taste the messaging. Establish the partner relationship, contact tour operators, sport marketing agencies, corporate entertainment providers, and fan communities. Set up dynamic pricing infrastructure, ensure your PMS and revenue management system can handle the data level, segment level pricing. Test your system. Then create a World Cup marketing calendar plans, social media, email, PR, and paid advertising campaigns pegged to match intelligence milestone. Hire trained staff. You will need to dedicate World Cup account managers, booking coordinators, and customer service supports too, right? Then the medium term action, for months 7 to, let's say, 15, we can lock in the inventory based on the match intelligence forecasts, commits to aggressive pricing by Q1 2026, which is about 6 months out. Then secure the group business, close 30 to 50% of expected group bookings. Then refine your demand forecast by month 12. You should have booking velocity data. Then taste the peak data date operations. Ensure your staff, system, and third party vendors can handle 90% plus occupancies. Stress test your infrastructure, right? So this all things comes in a part when you have such big or mega events happen around or in your cities. It depends on your property, where your property is located. So this all things is like play an important role, right? So during the tournament, you should execute the daily revenue optimization. Match intelligence allows you to adjust the pricing daily based on match outcome, team elimination, and update the fan travel patterns also. Monitoring the competitive positioning, track the competitor ADR daily, the rates for the rooms, adjust your rates to stay competitive in the market, right? Also capture more revenue for by giving the room upgrades, F&B packages, parking, shuttle services. Create 3 to 5 ancillary revenue streams that leverage the World Cup moment. The eighth factor that we're talking about is two key metrics to monitor, where you should look at ADR premium percent, occupancy rate to target 80% plus during the group stage and 90% plus during knockouts. Revenue per available room, like rev per, primarily profit metric. Then average length of stay, as we talked earlier, your booking pace compared to 2026 pace to historical averages by week. Then your market shares, your room nights growth relatively to competitive set, your room night growth relative to competitive set, your customer acquisition cost, your CAC. Calculate your CAC by segment to ensure the profitability. Um, yeah, so this all points you should keep in the mind during this event. The final and the last factor would be market shares. Always looking your competitors. Also do the dynamic pricing. Also see at which room type, which room code the customer would coming more and booking more for that. Make available. Don't make your room out of order, out of service. uh, be ready for this type of events in future if happen. Looking your um, framework, make a framework, work on it. March and February and March would be the month that you should look at, and June and July would be the month that you have to implement all your strategies, right? Also, the bookings for June and July would be started. The fans already started booking. So look the specific dates where you can see when the FIFA World Cup, the July is coming, June is coming. Close to the arrival, the occupancy would be accelerating, the pickups would be accelerating. So price according to that. So yeah, the FIFA World Cup 2026 is arriving in 18 months for those of you in hosted cities, and this is not just another peak season. It's an once in a decade revenue event, revenue opportunity event for hoteliers and revenue managers. Properties that use match intelligence to build strategic data-driven revenue plans will capture 200 to 250% ADR premiums, and those that improvise will leave margin on the table. Not all the World Cup demand is equal, right? So the group stages, the knockouts, and the finals creates three distinct pricing tiers, right? So I'm happy to question this that comes in my mind, also in your mind, hoteliers and revenue manager mind, which would what if my property isn't in a host city, right? This question comes into your minds as well. So you still have a significant opportunity. Properties within 1 to 2 hours of host cities can capture spillover demand, market yourself as a near to action alternative with the lower prices and easier parking. Use match intelligence to know which matches will drive travelers to your area and target them specifically. The second question would be, how do I ensure my revenue management system can handle this complexity, right? So modern RMS platforms like RevEvolve supports all types of data level pricing, and you need a system like RevEvolve that allows you to see the different visualization of your hotel property data, your live data, your daily data, and also suggest the AI driven actions to take for the next day, for the today, or for this week, or for the next week, or for such a mega events also, right? So if your current system doesn't support this, it's time to move to RevEvolve. It's time to become a RevEvolve client. The third question would be, what's my risk mitigation strategy if demand underperforms? So build a modular packages, like if early booking is slow, you can adjust pricing downwards without dismantling your entire strategy. Also consider discounted rates in adjacent cities to capture demand spillover. um, the fourth question would be, should I block inventory for tour operators or sell via the direct channels only, right? This is an important question. Um, so my suggestion would be blend both. Allocate 30 to 40% of peak date inventory to strategic tour operator partners. They bring pre-assembled groups at premium rates. Reserve 60 to 70% for direct sale and OTA channels, like higher margin but require active marketing. The diversification reduce the risk and maximize the revenue. So yeah, I think I'll cover all the overview for the FIFA World Cup 2026. It is a great opportunity for hoteliers to earn as much as they can, and if the hotel is in the hosted city, then you should watch the part 2. It is great, strategic, insightful uh, session for of part 2 webinar series. So I hope that you have no questions related to this part 1 overview for FIFA World Cup. If you have, you can comment down. I can cover that in the part 2, and we'll see this event, this match intelligence hub and explore more insights that our RevEvolve team have done. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. And the opportunity is real, the data is clear, and you can see you can earn more. Just you need to apply the strategic action, immediate action based on what your data and what your property is saying. So it's time to act now. Best of luck with your World Cup 2026 revenue strategy. See you in the part 2.